Bye, John. We love you.
Love you.
Hello employee travelers, my name is Johnny P and welcome to my channel. My channel is all about adventure, fun, and living your best life, all while keeping your 9 to 5. Long story short, I moved out of my parents' house super broke at 18 years old and went from working at McDonald's to now finishing college and driving a Tesla. Throughout college, my fiance Freddie and I, along with many of my friends, have planned fun budget trips all over the world, from Cuba to the Grand Canyon to even Italy and Spain. Take a ride with me while I share my budget adventures, from hanging off the top of the largest building in North America, joyriding through the deserts on the West Coast, to impromptu trips to the Caribbean and coastal drives through beautiful Hawaii. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, as I'm so excited to share my budget tips and tricks to inspire you to travel, try new experiences, and live your best life. Hey guys, it's Johnny P. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my channel is basically to help you, the everyday, average, 9 to 5 life person, travel around the world for super cheap and live your best life. I've traveled every month for 3 years straight while going to school, as well as while working a full-time job. And throughout all of my adventures, a lot of my friends and family asked for all of my tips and tricks on how I do it. In 2016 and 2017, I literally set myself a goal to travel every single month in the entire year. So in 2017, we did a lot of local trips around the state of Florida. So we visited Tennessee, Georgia, but mid-year, we actually took a trip to Cuba. After visiting Cuba, we realized we really enjoy spending time out of the country. So in August, we had no idea where we wanted to go, but we knew that we wanted to get out of the country and be in a completely different place. Whenever you leave the country, most people spend about 5 days to a week somewhere, meaning that they would have to use 5 days of vacation or 5 PTO days. I wanted to get out of the country, but only use a small amount of my vacation hours. After doing a random search to see where I can go out of the country, I ran into a cheap flight to Toronto, Canada. Whenever I told my fiance Fred about this cheap ticket to Canada, he said, hey, why don't we visit Niagara Falls as well? So I planned this whole epic 4-day trip to Toronto as well as Niagara Falls, and I only used 2 vacation days. We actually worked the full day on Wednesday. We left Wednesday night very late out of Tampa at 8 p.m. and we had all of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So one of the cool things that we really wanted to do was also get a stamp on our passport. The way that I planned the trip was us starting in Toronto and ending in Niagara Falls. So I was able to make this trip super beneficial by us flying into one destination, driving somewhere else, and with our departing flight, leaving the actual other destination. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys my experience of dangling off the tallest building in North America, and I'm gonna share with you guys the most epic food spots that you must try when you're visiting Canada in general, because their food is bomb. Enjoy this video of my epic trip to Canada. Wednesday, August 16th, 2017. For this trip, we had 3 of us, which was me, Fred, and our best friend Nicole, and left out of Tampa at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night, which gave us all of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to explore beautiful Canada. The flight was only 2 hours and 44 minutes, and we flew on Air Canada. The cost of the flight there was only $132 each. We originally wanted to fly in on Thursday, but we found that the plane ticket was way cheaper to fly out on Wednesday night. Now listen, I have lots of trouble sleeping in general, especially when I'm on airplanes, so I bought this really cool inflatable airplane pillow for $20 that was actually super comfy and helped me nap during my flight. After arriving to Toronto, we picked up our car rental that we used for our entire trip. The cost of our car rental was $340, but it was completely worth it because we ended up returning the car at the end of our trip to a completely different location, which was near Niagara Falls. Pro tip: Before visiting any city, I always do calculations to determine if it's cheaper to rent a car versus Uber or Lyft. I always tend to rent the cheapest option since we're literally in the city to explore and have fun and not really be super bougie. After we picked up our car, we went to the first gas station we could find and bought some special Canadian Ruffles. For some odd reason, these chips are not sold in the US. The all dressed up flavor includes a blend of barbecue, ketchup, sour cream, onion, salt, and vinegar. These chips were legit. After scouring these chips, we headed to our first Airbnb. This Airbnb only costed us $63, which divided by 3 only equals out to $21 per person. Pro tip: we normally choose cheaper Airbnbs when we arrive to our destination late at night, since all we're gonna do is sleep anyway. Therefore, we saved our money for a nicer place for the next days, since we had more time available to enjoy our place. Thursday, August 17th, 2017. The next morning, we woke up and we spent a full day around Toronto. Out of all the places we go to visit on our list is a poop cafe. Yes, I said it. A poop cafe. Thankfully, they actually don't serve any poop, but everything is actually poop and toilet design. I love exploring random places, and this happened to be on our list of random things to do. The theme was super cool, but the food was kinda and it was a little pricey. It wouldn't be something that I would visit in the future. After our meal, I found a cool photo spot to take a picture that screams Toronto. Pro tip: I always search Instagram to find the random cool signs and pictures that will help me store memories from each of my trips. This Toronto sign was actually created by artists in the city of Toronto. I would definitely recommend to take a quick pit stop here. And here's Fred, actually having fun for once. Just kidding. I love you, babe. He is fun. We decided to head to our next Airbnb to check in. Now, generally, I love using Airbnb because I love the feeling of knowing that I'm helping another person rather than a huge corporation.
Second Airbnb.
I've never really had a bad experience with Airbnb, but this one was pretty shocking.
So we just left our Airbnb because the bed sheets smelled like BO.
The bed sheets literally smelled like BO, and the toilet bathtub was stained, and we had a broken sink that barely fit my hands. Like, I'm not a big guy.
I complained and got all my money back, and now
we did not feel comfortable staying in this Airbnb at all. So I called Airbnb to explain my situation, but they made it very difficult to actually get a refund. They said that we had to speak with our host directly for a refund, but our host was actually not being compliant with us. Ultimately, we went back and forth with Airbnb for 2 hours over the phone, and we finally got a full refund. We didn't know what area to stay in after we left our Airbnb, but I remembered that I have a free Marriott hotel stay since I'm a Marriott Convoy card holder. By owning my Marriott card, I get 1 free hotel stay in any Marriott category 5 or below completely for free every year. Now, the catch is I do pay $85 annually for having this card, but it's worth it because hotels generally do cost over $100 a night.
yes.
We found a beautiful Marriott high-rise in downtown Toronto. And this is how you know everything happens for a reason, even the bad things. It was a huge blessing that Airbnb did not work out because we ended up in a super fun area of Toronto with tons of bars, restaurants, and nightlife. We went to a few bars, had a few drinks, and danced the night away. They stopped selling beer very early. I think it was probably around 10 p.m. to midnight. So if you're looking to have fun in Toronto, make sure you head out early. Friday, August 18th, 2017. We woke up early and I was excited to finally dangle off the side of the largest building in North America, the CN Tower. I'm such an adrenaline junkie and thrillist, so I was overly excited for this part of the trip. Just to start my day off with some adrenaline, we had coffee at the amazing and delicious Tim Hortons. This place was actually much better quality than Starbucks, and it was only half the price. Another great plus of Tim Hortons is that they actually serve real breakfast, unlike the packaged crap that they serve you at Starbucks. Finally, it was time to willingly hang off the side of this huge skyscraper. But honestly, the scariest part was the price. To do the CN Tower Edge Walk, it actually cost $225 per person. It was a pretty neat experience and it was worth the cost. It was justifiable, let's put it that way. Pretty much for about 30 minutes, you get to walk around, hang frontwards, backwards, and do a lot of cool things while hanging off the side of this large building. You might ask, would I do it again? The answer is hell yeah. Even though it was pricey, I would still do it again. Now, Fred is super scared of heights, and he even did it. I actually almost chickened out, but when we got up the top, it was well worth the views. After almost dying, we decided to reward ourselves with some amazing and original Canadian poutine. I mean, what's Canada without eating one of their most popular dishes? If you don't know what poutine is, your life has pretty much been pointless this far. Just kidding. It includes some French fries, gravy, melted cheese curds, and other different cool meats and flavors. We really enjoyed our dish and washed it down with some beer. I would highly recommend adding eating poutine to the top of your priority list when visiting Canada. Saturday, August 19th. It was time to leave the city life and head out to Niagara Falls. Before leaving the city, we took some photos at one of the most touristy Toronto signs you can find. After our quick photo op, we made our way to Niagara Falls. As the adrenaline junkie I am, I pre-booked a speedboat tour for all of us when we arrived to Niagara Falls. I've previously been on other jet boat tours in Miami, and it's one of the most fun and safe adrenaline adventures that you can have without much preparation. We booked the tour with a company called Niagara on the Lake Jet Boat Tours. This tour was completely worth it, and it brought us as near to the falls as legally allowed. I wish I could have gotten more footage, but of course I did not want to lose my valuables. The cost for the speedboat was $56 a person, and it was so worth it. After the speedboat tour, we had a quick meal and headed closer for a touristy view of the falls. It was already nighttime once we arrived to the viewpoint of the falls, and so peaceful to watch the falls as it changed colors. After being mesmerized by the falls, we finally went to check into our Airbnb. Our Airbnb was walking distance from the falls, which was a huge perk. So we walked, rolled, crawled, and hopscotched over to our Airbnb. When I was looking for hotels, I found out all of them were pretty much expensive near Niagara Falls. I even searched for other Airbnbs, but they were not budget friendly at all. So I decided to book the cheapest one I could find. The total cost for this Airbnb was $120 for the night, which came out to being $40 each. Sunday, August 20th, 2017. Our last day exploring Niagara Falls. It was our last day in Canada before heading out to Florida. We woke up, ate a quick breakfast, and then went to have a photo shoot at the falls. We explored both the Canadian and New York side and got some pretty epic pictures. The Canadian side is much nicer and has way better views than what's on the US side. We headed to return our car rental on the Canadian side, but before we left to the United States, we of course decided to go on a final poutine run. I have yet to find great poutine here in the US. After our poutine run and returning the car, we walked across the Rainbow Bridge back into the United States. Once we arrived back to the US side, we hung out a bit and then booked an Uber that brought us to Niagara Falls International Airport. It was so sad to say goodbye to such an amazing trip, but we made it back at home at 8:12 p.m. just in time to make it a good night's sleep before we went back to work the next day. We flew on Allegiant Airlines, which left at 5:30 p.m. and arrived to St. Pete Airport, which is outside of Tampa, at 8:12 p.m. The cost of our flight was $366 between both Fred and I, and that included the bag that we shared. We actually got this flight for free because we had vouchers from previously having issues with Allegiant Airlines. Here's our cost breakdown. Our flight to Canada was on Air Canada and cost $264.90 between Fred and I, which totals to really $132.45 per person. Our flight going back total cost was $366 and $25 for our one luggage that we shared. If we divide that between both of us, then it was really $195 per person. Our car rental was $340 for 5 days, and if we divide that by 3, that equals $114 per person. Our first Airbnb was $63 divided by 3, which equals $21 per person. Our hotel in downtown Toronto was free, but would have been around $100. Our final Airbnb was only $120, which totals out to be $40 per person. I hope you guys enjoyed this travel vlog on my trip to Toronto and Niagara Falls. Check out my other cool videos like my Hawaii trip, which I found tickets to go to for $149, and also my trip to Cuba. Please be sure to subscribe for more cool tips, tricks, and itinerary ideas to help you live your best life. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. Till next time.